It says he represents the Tanaka clan. You don't look like Tanaka.
Shidoshi Tanaka trained me.
What's the whole up?
He says Senzo Tanaka is his Shidoshi.
What's the difference if Bruce Springsteen is a Shidoshi?
If Senzo Tanaka is his Shidoshi, then show us the dim mak.
What the hell is a dim mak?
Death touch.
Thanks. Vic, choose a break.
Okay, Frank. What about this one?
Go! Bottom one.
Son of the bitch. Is that good enough, guys?
We honor your invitation.
No shit, you honor his invitation.
It's Two Dads, One Movie. It's the podcast where two middle-aged dads sit around and shoot the shit about the movies of the 80s and 90s. Here are your hosts, Steve Paulo and Nick Brianna. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Two Dads, One Movie. I'm Steve.
And I'm Nick.
And today we are talking about the 1988 Jean-Claude Van Damme action classic, Bloodsport. And Nick, you brought us Bloodsport. You brought it to the table. What's your history with the movie?
Oh, man. I caught this one around high school, my young teens, and I think this got passed around because the idea of it was very fun. So this is at the time where we're getting into like Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter 2 and stuff.
Yeah.
And there weren't really at that time a ton of movies that were about these multidisciplinary fighting competitions.
Right.
You know,
that's a good point.
So this one, it really would stimulate your imagination just thinking about like the sumo guy going against the guy who just hops around like a chimp and like all these different moves that these guys bring to the table and the different looks and stuff. And I thought it was cool. Van Damme was never my favorite action star, but there was only so much Arnie and Stallone to go around. So you had to start dipping into the Van Dammes and the Seagals and the, if you really got desperate, you're getting into the Michael Dudikoffs and the Jeff Speakmans and stuff like that.
Good Lord.
But, I thought this would be a fun one to chat about. I haven't watched it in a while, but it's one that most guys our age at least understand the reference of, like the Kumite and then Van Damme famously, like two of his big things are doing the splits. So how are we going to fit the splits into the movie? And number two is kicking only with your right foot at all times. So how are we going to make that happen? And I think they figured it out. So yeah, I'm excited to talk about this one. It had been a while, but I was glad to have rewatched it. How about you, Steve? You've seen this one before?
I had never seen Bloodsport before this week. It just missed me somehow. I think, there was this, I think there were a lot of action movies. It's kind of like the Rambo films. It's movies that like I would incorporate elements of it just because my friends would talk about it. And so it ended up feeling like I knew the movie before I ever like watched it. And I think that this one was interesting in two ways because not like Bloodsport. So not only did this came out 3 years before Street Fighter 2 came out. Mm-hmm. And so it is impossible to look at Street Fighter 2 and not say, well, that is directly influenced by Bloodsport.
Yeah.
Obviously it's not an adaptation of the movie, but like the whole concept of a secret underground international street fighting mixed martial arts competition with fighters of all these different styles. The Guile character is a American military. It's clearly Jean-Claude Van Damme's, person in this movie. The Frank Dux character is clearly who Guile, was.
And then Johnny Cage in Mortal Kombat had a move where he went down into the splits, like directly taken from this.
Absolutely. And that character, I think Johnny Cage is even more explicitly, this is Jean-Claude Van Damme in so many ways, right? But like so much of this movie, became Street Fighter 2. And so I played, thousands of hours of that over the years. So there's that. And
who's your preferred character in Street Fighter 2?
If we're talking about the original Street Fighter 2, I was
Yeah.
I was mostly a Ken player.
Okay.
And then when we got to the Turbo and Hyper Fighting Championship Edition, you could play as the bosses. I became a Vega guy. So
because Vega could climb that chain link fence and dive down,
but only on Vega's level. You could still do the wall bounce off the edge of the screen though, where you could kind of like. So yeah, there was that, and I definitely got. There was one summer where I went to like a computer camp, basically, on the campus of St. Mary's College, and we stayed in the dorm for a week, Greg Nielsen and I, and there was a student union with a Street Fighter II arcade machine, and there was a point where I stayed on one quarter. I think I beat like 8 or 9 people in a row, which was definitely still the highlight of my entire life.
See, I get too. It's interesting to hear that you're a Ken player, because I would get too tied up in the guys that had like crazy special features that didn't pay off that well.
Right.
So you get like a Blanca where you do that electrocution thing, or the Dalsum where he could like reach super far. He had those stretchy arms. Yeah. So none of those guys in here, but for sure, like the basic dudes, like the basic types, I think are very well represented in Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat from this movie.
Yeah. Very clear reference there. And then most recently, I realized I didn't know the full references to this movie because in the show The Bear, I don't know if you've ever watched it, but it's one of my favorite shows of recent years. One of the earliest episodes, a bunch of the guys before they've like turned the restaurant into a fancy restaurant, they're talking about something and basically talk about like, say mate. And I was kind of like, what the hell is that? Like, and they even in the show say something about, it's Bloodsport or whatever, they make a reference to it, and I go, oh, I don't know what that, like, I never heard that thing before. So now obviously I do know what that means, having watched it. So, but yeah, so this is one of those movies that I feel like, not having watched it, you still get some familiarity with it because of other references or other influence it has had on popular culture.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
by not actually having seen it, like, I didn't get that whole picture. So it's kind of filled in all those blanks for me, which is great. Let's jump into the facts. All right. So the movie Bloodsport was released on February 26th, 1988 with an R rating and a running time of 92 minutes. It was directed by Newt Arnold. Written by Sheldon Lettich, Christopher Cosby, and Mel Friedman. The film stars Jean-Claude Van Damme, Donald Gibb, and Leah Ayers. Scores: Rotten Tomatoes 48%, so pretty much half and half. IMDb 6.8, not particularly good. This was another movie like last week's Summer Rental, and this one I don't have a good reason for. I don't know, but it did not get a review from Siskel and Ebert, so I don't know if this was one they just chose not to bother with or what.
I mean, we'll get to it in a minute, but this is a very low budget movie, so it might not have had wide release at the time it first came out or something.
Entirely possible. One awards thing that I did want to call out here. So in 1989 at the Razzies, Jean-Claude Van Damme was nominated but did not win the Worst New Star Award. That was won that year by Ronald McDonald. The actual McDonald's clown mascot was given the award for, quote, playing himself in the movie Mac and Me.
Oh boy,
which is weird, but that's the Razzies. So what are you gonna do? But it's. I looked at the list, and the only name that was nominated that year that was a real person and someone who had a career later on is Jean-Claude Van Damme. None of the other people nominated for that made any sense. But anyway, no other awards buzz on this movie other than the Worst New Star Razzie. On a $1.5 million budget, which very impressive. I mean, look, most of this movie is fight choreography. So as long as you're able to pay a choreographer a fairly small amount to do reasonably good stuff, that's good. There's not a lot of special effects outside of some makeup. There are no injuries that require significant. This is not a John Carpenter movie.
Yes,
right. Nothing's being ripped off of anyone or anything crazy like that.
That's all. It's all just implied.
And there's like 4 sets in the whole movie, basically. So it makes sense how you could get it down to 1.5. It made $63.5 million at the box office, 42 times what it cost. So massive successful hit, especially based off of the budget. So yeah, this was a huge hit. There's no denying that.
Yeah. Well,
let's kick it off, Nick.
Kick it off in Bloodsport. So, this kicks off kind of with an opening montage of all these different fighters who represent different styles.
Yep.
And it shows them kind of training and showing their skills. Actually a very cool, like kind of perfect way to start this movie off. And we've got your standard kind of like karate kung fu guys, and we've got your sumo guys, we've got your wrestlers. Some guys, their style just seems to be brute strength. Like it doesn't necessarily matter. There's this really small guy who like hops around like a lemur or like this, and it shows him he like shimmies up a tree super fast and he's smashing coconuts with his fists and stuff, and just such a like if you're in the writer's room and you're trying to figure out like what's a crazy style. But I think a lot of this stuff is real certain types of martial arts, like
Some
the
of it.
capoeira
Yep.
and stuff like that is very odd looking if you're seeing it next to other styles,
Yeah,
right?
because we get a Brazilian guy, Paredes is his last name, and he's doing capoeira, and
Yeah.
there's Muay Thai, and there's all this stuff. I got to be honest with you though, that African character that runs up into the trees and chops the coconuts with his hand and later bounces around the ring like a monkey,
Kind of the most racist character.
the most
we've seen.
racist thing I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
It is really bad. Like that would not fly today whatsoever. You can't do that. You could maybe get away with that style if it was any other race of actor. You just cannot do that with a black man.
It was
just
a
doesn't.
little tough.
It would have been a little rough then. Watching it now for the first time is like, are you beg your finest fucking pardon? Like, really? We're doing that?
I do need to find out though, is this based on a real style? Like how true is that?
Could be.
So
Yeah.
it could be a thing, but yeah, I mean, not knowing that, it is like, yo,
It doesn't
like,
play well.
What are we doing here? So we've got the different montage of that happening.
Yeah.
And then we have Van Damme, Captain Frank Dux, and he's in the army.
Yeah.
And they're kind of telling him like, hey, you're about to have a break, but we need to talk to you before you go.
Well, he's basically
Right?
said, because a guy comes to him and says like, hey, Captain Dukes, like the colonel needs to see you. He found out you're going to Hong Kong.
Right.
He wants to talk to you. And it's clear that like, that's not like Frank would be in trouble basically is the idea.
So Frank, he takes off running, right?
Yep.
So he just sprints out of the army very easily in his uniform, and just and by the time they look for him, he's gone. Like there's not much of a chase of Frank Dux there.
No, because he ends up at this house, which is, he knocks on the front door and it's obviously a place he knows well. An older woman answers the door and like they embrace. It's clear they know each other. And we see this little shrine in the front room. It's got like a katana and like its little candles and like stuff. And he stares at that pensively for the next 10 minutes while we get a huge flashback to his childhood, where a couple friends of his and Frank break into this house we're in and like start playing with the katana and the scabbard and basically, plan to steal it, but then don't. His friends leave when people start moving in the house and leave him there. And he doesn't jump back out the window.
No, he's just standing there holding the katana,
which is, he's holding the scabbard. He's not even holding the sword. It's like just the scabbard part. But basically like a kid and an old man come out, not even an old man, like a middle-aged man come out and the kid kicks him in the stomach. Turns out this is this family that lives there, the dad and the son who live there. And they basically, the first thing, so I was like, real quick, because it doesn't actually matter. I have to mention, it's hilarious to me that young Frank Dux climbs through that window wearing outfit pieces from two different professional teams called the Giants. He's got a New York Giants shirt and a San Francisco Giants hat.
That is an absolutely on location telling the props guy, get me two Giants things. It is
crazy. So funny to me.
I just want to talk about young Frank Dux.
Okay.
Oh, and at the end of the whole sequence of him like trying to steal the sword and the little kid kicks him, and then the old guy just slices the brim of his hat off with the sword.
For no good reason.
Which is a great move. Young Frank Dux is the dopiest looking guy. He has one of those like Eli Manning faces.
Oh, good.
Like just a real like kind of whatever. So I already can't stand looking at his face. And then when he starts talking, it is unbelievably shitty. Because like you said before the pod, like, they have to establish that he will end up sounding like Jean-Claude Van Damme someday. So the kid has to have this accent. And it is an accent.
It's something.
I hate this actor, this casting decision. So look, this real human, God bless him. I hope he's having a wonderful life far away from cinema. But I want to apologize actually to the actor Dan Futterman, who played Val, the son in the movie The Birdcage, because that I thought was the most I could hate a casting decision. Young Frank Dux blows it out of the fucking water.
Fair.
So yeah, like you said, we're in a 10-minute montage of young Frank Dux, and at first he's just kind of like the punching dummy for the little kid. He's getting trained in a very like lopsided seeming way.
And real quick, just on this kid, when he first jumped through the window, I thought to myself, oh, that's young Frank. He's not going to talk at all because they never would have gotten to get an actor to sound like he'll end up being Jean-Claude Van Damme with that voice. And this character at this age is like maybe 13, I want to say, give or take, right? If his family just relocated from Belgium or France or wherever they sound like they're from, right? I know Van Damme himself is Belgian, but like, it's basically like a French accent is what we're hearing, right? And both parents have it because this mentor teacher character talks to the parents about martial science and how important it is to teach our children. Just like you grow a vine, they must be from France because they don't grow a lot of wine in Belgium. So you grow vines, I grow children is sort of his thing, like, because you got to use science. They let him talk. It was awful. And I also wonder if they had relocated to the U.S. at that age where, he's under 13 when he relocates, would his accent still be as thick as Jean-Claude Van Damme's accent as an adult? Having like lived in America for that long, it seems unlikely. Like, I get some accents are very, they stick with you for a long time. And I've met kids with accents, don't get me wrong, but it just felt like weird. They really shouldn't have had him talk. It would have been much better if he didn't talk.
And I do wonder if the actor, if that was his accent or if they were having this guy do it. Because it was really
I will
rough.
feel terrible if that's really just what that kid sounded like, but it will also explain why he looks like such a dope because they weren't casting the look, they were casting the voice.
Yeah.
And had to go with whatever they got.
Yeah, he does not look like Van Damme, a young Van Damme in any way whatsoever.
His skull shape is completely wrong.
Crazy
so
different.
Wild. But anyway, we should move off of young Frank because he's not worth it.
So now, so Tanaka is kind of explaining to the parents, right? He wants to train Frank. There's a cut scene of them at school. So Frank is obviously in school with this Tanaka's son, who's a younger boy, and he's getting bullied. And Frank steps in and in like a very shitty looking way, like beats up the bullies.
Right.
So he's gaining a little respect, right?
I do like one of the kids in that scene behind him who's just watching the fight is wearing a Bartles and James t-shirt that looks like a giveaway. It's so bad.
I love that stuff. It's so funny in the old things where you see someone wearing like a Virginia Slims hat that's a 10-year-old.
The fucking 80s, man. I don't know.
So in this montage, we see that the son, Mr. Tanaka's actual son, who'd been training with Frank over these years, dies. Looks like a military thing.
I think he died in the Kumite. I think because we see him talk about going to fight the Kumite for his dad, and then he doesn't come back. It's kind of what it seemed like to me.
Right.
But
terrible sad dad acting. I mean, really unbelievably bad. And Tanaka's supposed to be this like ancient old man, and he's probably like 41 in real life. It's crazy.
And they never show him with any gray hair. Even in present day, when he's like on his deathbed, not a gray hair in his mustache or his head. I will say the choice to give his family background that they were nuked in Hiroshima was like, that's a hell of a choice. But he's basically like, I was in the war, and while I was away, my family, my son and my wife were killed. They were in Hiroshima. It's like, holy fuck, dude. Like, that is brutal. Why would you even be in the United States at that point?
Seriously, like, I'd probably pick a different place
anywhere
that loved
else.
me more.
Good Lord.
So as we're seeing, like the training is kind of stepping up, right? So Frank Dux is being tasked with very Mr. Miyagi style things. One of the things Tanaka is just reaching into a koi pond and pulling out a fish with his hand, and then they've got him. Frank Dux is in blindfolds, and they're training him on like, how to work without his eyesight. He does the splits a lot. He's being attacked with weapons. So they're really pounding the shit out of this guy.
Well, and it's funny because they do the koi grab and they do the blindfold stuff and they set all that up, and that all does come back. But the funny part is when those things come back in the story and become meaningful, they give us a flashback to these scenes. We get to see these scenes again just to remind us, remember? He grabbed fish out of the koi pond and fought blindfolded. Don't forget that. Okay, now let's move on. And it's just like, it's so like holding your hand through the plot, which is hilarious because there's very little plot in this movie to begin with. But
no, this is a series of fights.
And when he's training, there's a few things I just noticed that are just kind of budget and maybe Van Damme's age and experience, but it's like, he falls before being hit a couple times pretty clearly where he's reacting to a punch that is still on its way. It's a very funny moment when he goes to punch Tanaka. Tanaka just does a very simple duck and one step, and Van Damme looks like he has seen a ghost or like a man disappeared. But he's so surprised. He's so surprised that Tanaka's not there anymore. And it's like, bro moved at like a reasonably good pace. He wasn't even that fast. Very, very funny.
He's got Tanaka's got him strung up between this tree. So each of his extremities is tied to a rope and tied to these two trees, and he's being spread apart. And then the thing that Frank does to show that he's finally strong enough is he's able to like pull himself up. And he pulls so hard that he just like starts breaking the little brackets.
The cleats pull out of the thing or whatever. I struggled with this a bit because there were two thoughts in my head at the same time watching this little display, right? One is clearly that requires a shit ton of strength. I could never remotely do anything like this. I'm not trying to say it, look, that's easy. No, it's obviously a clear sign of strength. But also I don't care. Like, why do I care? What's he going to do now? Now you're just tied, you're still tied by rope to like this other thing. You haven't like broken out. Like, it's just like, why was this the exercise? It
I
just
don't
is very
understand.
strange.
I mean, I think he had in his contract, I do the splits 5 times in this movie for an extended period of time.
I think, yeah. I was trying to count.
So at the end of this mostly excruciating flashback sequence, Frank is awarded his own sword.
Yes, that's right.
So he's graduated and everything. And then it cuts back to him just like still in that living room, like, boo. And he's looking at this picture. It's like, why did we do it this way?
It's so, and there were 2 or 3 times during the flashback that we cut back to Frank's face just to remind us all, remember, this is a flashback.
Flashing back.
I think it happened right when in the flashback, Jean-Claude Van Damme started playing Frank. Like, because we went from Frank, the young kid, and then in the flashback, we got to the point where now Frank is a young man, younger than he is present day, but it's now him, right?
That's when he had his head replacement surgery.
Exactly. His jaw reconstruction. And so we had to flash forward again to like remind us all, hey, he's still standing in that, this is not now, this is before. It's this movie is holding your hand through every moment.
Oh, totally.
And it's holding your hand through the simplest plot that has ever been put on film. But that's okay. They kind of knew who their audience was and they didn't want anybody asking any questions. I get it. But this is where I've noticed really that it was like, why does Tanaka not have a single gray hair? Did you not have like hair dye in the budget?
Old at all. He wasn't even acting that old.
No.
He's just laying down.
Bed. Yeah, that's it.
So now we're in Hong Kong, right? We've traveled to Hong Kong for the Kumite. Frank is he talked to Tanaka saying, I'm going to go to the Kumite, be careful, whatever. I'm doing it for you. This kind of shit.
Yeah.
He meets the other American there, or one of the other Americans, this guy, Ray Jackson.
Yeah, Donald Gibb.
Donald Gibb. We've seen him in a lot of 80s stuff, right?
Every time I see him, no matter what I see him in, I think one of my first notes in the book for this one was, hey, it's Ogre. Yeah. Because every time I see him, I think of Ogre from Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah, absolutely. And his fighting style is I drink beer and like motorcycles, and I'm big.
His fighting style is Hulk Smash, I guess, technically.
Dude,
is like
I looked up, there was something about his fighting style, and it had this name to it. And I was like, what? I've never heard of that.
Interesting.
And basically the definition of the style was whatever, no holds barred.
This is Fezzik from The Princess Bride, Andre the Giant. It's like, his way is not very sporting, like whatever, no sportsmanlike.
And he's getting you're getting some information about the Kumite, how it works. Like they have a handler kind of guy.
Yeah.
Who's a really cool looking character.
Yeah,
I like his
him,
kind of mulleted, half-tint glasses, tracksuit, gold chain, my kind of guy.
Were those glasses prescription? Because they were shaped like aviator sunglasses, but they weren't particularly dark. So I guess those were just his glasses.
Yeah,
right?
They were those half-tint. Those were
really interesting. Yeah.
Big back then, but yeah.
Jackson and Frank play a video game together briefly in the hotel bar or something maybe. And the thing I noticed about it is it didn't look like any game I know. It didn't look exactly like any game I remember. Maybe it was, or maybe I don't know what they did, but there were no buttons. They each had 2 joysticks. And it was like one of them must have been the kick and punch sort of stuff, and the other one was move and jump, I guess. But it was very weird to see them both with each hand on a joystick, moving them left, right, up, down, left, right, whatever.
Yeah.
And it was like, I don't remember any video game like
with 2 joysticks. Well, Super Smash TV.
Yeah, but that was different. I agree, but I'm more like this because the reason Super Smash TV worked is because you could shoot in 360 degrees around you, right? It was top down, so you had to be able to shoot every direction. So one stick was the shooter and one was you moving, right? That kind of thing. But this is like a side-to-side fighting.
Van Damme's leg can go in any direction around the clock.
That is a good point.
I forgot to look up what game this is. I don't know if it was like Karate Champ or just one of those kind of generic things, because I think it also wasn't in English in parts on the screen.
It looked like a little bit like if you took the old Kung Fu NES game and turned it into a PvP kind of fighting game versus like a level thing. It kind of looked like that, but it definitely was. It's definitely something else. It must have been a Chinese or Japanese game we didn't get here or something.
Right.
Maybe. Yeah.
And so Frank and Ray Jackson are playing this. They're kind of very fast friends there. Yeah. Frank beats Ray at it and is like, hey, you want to go again? So they're all excited. Meantime, the government is just like a couple steps behind Frank. So they've shown up to Tanaka's house. And there's 2 agents. I don't know one of the actors. One is Forrest Whitaker, and the other guy. But they're the kind of 2 guys in pursuit of Frank Dux throughout this movie.
And it's the classic when you want to put 2 officials in something where they're not really meant to be like drivers of the plot, but they are meant to be there to sort of like be a ticking clock.
Yeah,
is that one of them is like young and reckless, and the other one is old and calm. I feel like that happens. It's basically the 48 Hours recipe. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And so Forrest Whitaker is always trying to be a little bit more of a hard ass, kind of like whatever. And the old white guy is kind of like, no, calm down, which is another, I got to be honest with you, another racist coded thing to me in this was the way that the older white agent was constantly like correcting or like calming down the younger black man.
Yeah.
You know, you're a little too angry to do this job,
or you're
buddy.
too excited about the food. There's a scene where the two of them are eating, and Forrest Whitaker's like, "Oh, this stuff is great,"
right?
And the other guy's like, "Oh, I wouldn't touch this stuff."
There's a lot of racially coded shit in this.
He's very enthusiastic. Yeah. So we got these guys kind of coming after them.
Yeah.
They're being led now, and their handler, this guy's named Mr. Lin, and he's kind of telling them about the Kumite. It happens once every 5 years, and it's no holds barred, and it takes place over 3 days.
Full
and
contact.
Just laying out, a blend of styles and all this stuff. And, you know, this guy's the champion. Chong Li is the guy who's the champion from last year. This line, like they are about to enter like the bowels of this area where they're led to the Kumite, and we get a very large man who goes, "Okay, USA," and then Ray Jackson repeats it. That's like a very common line from this movie. But this part, okay, here's something we discussed in a previous episode.
Okay.
When we did the episode on the movie Jacob's Ladder, there was one of these nightmare sequences where he was being led down this hallway, and with all this really weird, gross stuff happening, and we thought maybe that's what was used to inspire the movie Beer Fest, where they're going down the hall. I think the Beer Fest thing is almost one for one the Bloodsport trek into the Kumite. So I got to watch Beer Fest again, like side by side with this, but I think it was inspired by this like walk through and all this weird shit they see on the way into the Kumite arena.
The funny part is, or the interesting thing to me about it was when they started walking through this, I thought to myself, man, I wonder, was this meant to look like Kowloon Walled City? Is that like what this was sort of based off of? And I looked it up, and no, that they filmed in Kowloon Walled City, which was always a part of Hong Kong that was basically an unregulated, there's no law in there.
Right.
Like it's absolutely.
And they did explain that a little bit, right? Yeah.
And it's like, this is one of the only Western film productions that ever filmed in Kowloon Walled City before it was torn down in the mid 90s. I think the Chinese government tore it down after they got Hong Kong back from the UK. And so it's gone now. It has been for years, but like this was an interesting thing. And I thought to myself, that is such a cool like historical artifact sort of that they're able to film in that actual place and keep that forever. Now the set where the battles took place was not physically there. That was on a soundstage, but they filmed those scenes of him walking, any scene that was filmed walking down those aisles or whatever, that was all done on one day in Kowloon Walled City for real. And so, very cool stuff in that sense. One of the only reasons I even know what Kowloon Walled City is that there was a hardcore punk band called Kowloon Walled City that I listened to for a while. Nice. And I remember looking it up once going, why are they called that? I wonder what this is. And like going down a Wikipedia rabbit hole about it. But so very cool. And maybe you're absolutely right. The whole Beer Fest reference thing is, I think, probably a mixture along with just any kind of labyrinthine, kind of thing. Definitely could have taken some inspiration from this.
Yeah, and I love that bit about the Kowloon Walled City, because this is a place that in real life conceivably could have actually had 100%. Something like this going on.
Yep.
Almost like a tanker ship, like in international waters, but it's on land.
Yellowstone's zone of death, where you can't impanel a jury.
So they get into the Kumite arena, and each participant, I guess, has a physical invitation.
Yeah.
And then they also have to show you're the guy, like qualify, show us in some way, right? And Frank Dux' thing that he does is there's these stacks of bricks, like 7-8 bricks, like 3 stacks of them. And his move is called the dim mock, which is like the touch of death or something like that, right?
All right.
And they say, okay, break one of these bricks, and pick a brick, whatever. And they decide he's got to break the bottom brick, so he has to hit through the top of a stack of bricks without damaging the first 6 and just exploding the bottom brick, which he does easily because it's easy to do.
Untouched. The bricks above barely move.
And it turns into like sand. It doesn't just slightly crack. Like it blows the fuck up.
It's like Walter throwing Donnie off the cliff and blowing it back in a dude's face. It is just dust. Like it's so bad.
Ray Jackson is covered in brick dust.
Exactly.
And now we see Chong Li, played by the great Bolo Yeung, like just an enormous Chinese actor who's really like, he's appeared in a lot of martial arts things, and he's like the intimidating guy, and he looks at him and he's not impressed, and he goes, "Brick don't hit back." That's a good. Well,
he makes a good point though.
Yeah, he does. Although it hit Ray Jackson in the face when the bits of it started flying around. So, so now the military pursuit gentlemen, Forrest Whitaker and the other guy, are coordinating now with like Hong Kong police.
Yep.
and they're trying to get in with these authorities. And the Hong Kong police is kind of doing the like kumite. I have no idea what you're talking about. I've never heard of that. That's not a real thing. So they're not being like super helpful.
Yeah, for sure.
But they've agreed, at least like now they know that Frank Dux is someone that we're looking for here.
Quickly about Chong Li, because first of all, I think it's funny watching this movie and realizing how much of a direct inspiration Street Fighter 2 took from it, and then named a character Chun-Li, right, which is a female character, but like similarly. The other thing is that, so Bolo Yeung, I believe I don't know if he's still alive actually, but a Chinese man.
Yeah.
And Chong Li sounds like a Chinese name, like naming conventions, but he is clearly a Korean character because he has the flag of South Korea on his headband. So it's like a very weird, like yet another example, in my opinion, of like this movie just not giving a shit about any of that kind of accuracy.
We needed
like,
one non-white person to review some stuff.
We're going to need super accuracy when it comes to like explaining how these things work. But when it comes to like that kind of stuff, like cultural shit, like who fucking cares? Like it was very dismissive of that. Because I'm watching the whole time going, Chong Li does not sound like a Korean name to me. And maybe, look, if you are aware of why that should sound like a Korean name to me it sounds like a Chinese name. It sounds like a made-up name, obviously, but it sounds more Chinese in origin. Maybe I'm wrong, and I could be corrected, but like it's weird to me that this character was played as a Korean.
Yeah.
Why didn't they just make him Chinese?
Maybe
it's so
he
strange.
killed a Korean guy and took his bandana or something.
Sure, I guess that's the only...
But yeah, it's a good point.
It's just a little strange.
Bolo Yeung, if you're still alive, please hit us up at the show at 2.1movie.com. That's the number 2 and the number 1.
Yeah.
There's a note that I made here that's kind of in the spirit of like, what the fuck here.
Okay.
So back at the hotel, so there's a reporter here, this woman reporter who's here to like learn about the kumite.
Right.
Like, I gotta get some info, and she kind of knows where the guys are, but nobody's giving her any information. So
like
anyone
she
she mentions it to is like, get out of here. So now she's back and she's talking to one of these guys who I think aside from young Frank Dux, is the worst actor in this movie.
So bad.
And this is the guy who plays the character Hussein, which again, they fucked this up big time. This guy's real name is not, he's in no way like Middle Eastern or Arab at all. And the way that they made him Arab is they just put the headgear on him.
Kafta or whatever it's called or something.
And then like when he fights, he doesn't wear it. So like we get this whole scene of him showing down against Van Damme later, and he's not wearing. He's hard to recognize. This guy's a terrible actor. His dialogue is so bad. And I wrote down with a star on it, you better be good at fucking karate. Like if you're this bad of an actor, you better do some good martial science later on because I don't trust it.
Spoiler alert, did he live up to that for you, Nick?
Absolutely not.
No, not remotely.
No. I don't think he did a move.
I agree with you.
He was there for his acting.
He was there to be the guy Frank knocks out quickly, right?
Yes.
Wasn't that sort of, his character's name is Sadiq Hussein. They put him in traditional garb of like the Arab Peninsula more so than, the Fertile Valley, more so than Iraq, Iran kind of thing. Like there's like all kinds of inconsistencies here. But it was clear they were going for a Saddam Hussein. I mean, because Saddam Hussein was a known quantity in the late 80s. It's not, he hadn't invaded Kuwait yet, but people would have known who he was.
Yeah.
So it feels like a direct reference to that. But like then all of the little details. And I also get the sense that we were supposed to accept his existence as an Arab character because of the gold tooth. Was that like supposed to be an indicator? Because he's got money. He's got that oil money, I guess.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
I think the main reason, back to the racism, the main reason we can tell that he's an Arab character, according to the filmmakers, not according to me, is that he is unbelievably disrespectful towards this woman, and he's trying to bring her like back to his room. He's like, I'll tell you about the kumite, come with me, basically doing everything but throwing her over his shoulder and walking away with her.
Oh my god.
So Frank Dux sees this happening. He comes up, clearly this is Wyatt Earp not letting the horse get slapped around.
That's
right. So Frank Dux sees this happening and he says, all right, we're going to do it. I have a challenge for you. You put a quarter in your hand, and if I can grab it out of your hand before you close your hand, she stays with me. You leave her the hell alone. Right. And if I can't grab it, go ahead and take her.
Which is
so.
Does she have an involvement?
Like,
does she have any say in this?
This is a great. I mean, it's like if my wife is about to get kidnapped, and I'm like, if I can do a backflip, I've never tried
stop.
it before, but I think, like, what the hell?
I think Genie's screwed if you have to do a backflip, buddy. There's nothing.
Yeah, that's
it's not
it. I'm
happening.
done, dude. So of course Frank Dux ends up snatching this quarter. He thinks that he didn't snatch the quarter out of his hand because he's like, and he opens his hand and he has, you've replaced it with a different coin.
Right. Yeah.
So Frank Dux, then he wins dinner with the girl because it's not just like, hey, I saved, like, she has to give you something. You can't just save a person.
Right. It can't just be altruistic. Like, so, yeah. So they have dinner together, and I think this is where she asks him to, like, help her get into the kumite, right?
Yep.
And he's just like, I can't. Like, they're too secretive about it. I can't get it in. She later gets in with absolute ease, just walking in with somebody and absolutely nothing. And the number of people that end up just walking into the audience of this tournament near the end, it's like, wait, why are any of these people allowed to be
Totally.
here? Totally insane.
It is one of these events, and we'll see it in a minute, but it's one of these events where people, which I love, people are just waving cash in the air and then exchanging it, at the end of it.
Did you notice one guy, they threw cash on a dude who lost? The guy gets knocked out and they just throw cash at him?
I mean, I get it. It's like a disrespectful looking thing, but it is funny that it's
like, I'm like, he lost, guys. Like, don't give him your money. He lost.
So we've got the kumite is about to start.
Yes.
Frank Dux is in his hotel room, and Ray Jackson comes in to get him. Frank Dux is doing the splits between two chairs for a very long period of time. And Ray Jackson's like, hey man, come on, it's time to go. And he's already drinking his beer. He's got his beer like first thing in the morning.
Yep.
Again, just mandatory splits.
Yeah.
We had to have this. So we get some explanation about the kumite. It happens every 5 years. It's 3 days. There's one winner. There's 3 ways to win. Knockout. Someone can tap out, or you can push them outside of the arena.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like slanted on two sides. Like, it's pretty big.
Was
it's
it
not
done?
a small
Was it that way
space.
the whole time? Because I remember really seeing that in the final battle, but I didn't think it was always slanted like that.
I would imagine that on the far away shots, it's always like that. But there's probably a lot of close up action shots where they're absolutely not on a slanted thing.
I just maybe didn't notice, but yeah. There was a point where I wrote a note down saying, like, wait, why is this like, why does it look like a really weak skateboard vert ramp now?
Yeah,
because it's just like raised on the ends and not. But anyway, so we learn a lot about it. We see a couple of battles. We get, I think Jackson does the title drop and says, like,
that's why they call it Bloodsport.
Exactly, right. Which is like, okay, thanks. When Chong Li does his fight, I couldn't tell right away if he'd killed the person that he fought. It looks like he didn't, because they make a big deal about it when someone does die near the end. Yeah. So I thought, but he almost they made a point to tell people, like, people have died. It doesn't sound like it's the kind of thing where it's like all the time people die or like every year people die, but like people have died in the ring.
Yes.
And then it looks like Chong Li maybe kills a dude, like really fucks him up. So at that moment, I will tell you something that the screenwriters and the director and everybody put into my head that they never paid off and I will never forgive them for.
Okay.
I assumed at that moment Chong Li was going to kill Ray Jackson.
Yeah.
That's at that point, when Chong Li almost kills the first person we see him fight, and you've made it clear to us that people have died, I am now expecting for Jackson to be killed so that Frank has someone to avenge.
Right. We're plugging the stakes into the formula, and that's exactly what would happen.
Chekhov's dead best friend.
Yes. And Chong Li, so he ends up Ray Jackson went against like the least scary guy I've ever seen just like punched him in the face immediately. And then he turns to Chong Li for no reason other than Chong Li's the defending champ. And he's like, I'm going to kill you, man. So especially,
exactly. That's what I think when I wrote it down.
So that happens. Chong Li comes in and then it's a world record win. So world record time. It's amazing. People are going, Chong Li, Chong Li. And when he's like responding to it, he's moving his arms at the weirdest like intervals. Like it's not going along with the chant at all. I don't understand it.
It's like they told him, raise your fists in the air in victory. And he had never seen anyone do that.
Yeah.
So he was like guessing what they meant and nobody corrected him because he's Bolo Yeung and he's enormous.
So Frank Dux comes in and he comes in against Hussein, who, the bad actor. We're going to see some awesome martial science from him. And of course, he doesn't even throw a single move, gets knocked out by Frank Dux immediately. And then Frank Dux has the new record.
Yes, that's right.
And Now, this could be a hashtag because I feel like it's come up a couple times. Yeah. So Hussein's gold tooth is now on the mat, and the kid who comes up to like wipe the blood off the mat between things gets a very greedy, mischievous look on his face and picks up the tooth. And of course, you got to chomp into that because it just came out of this sicko's mouth.
Oh, that's so weird. But like, are you specifically talking about losing a gold tooth or the biting on something to test if it's real? Because those are two different things that happen a lot.
Those should both probably happen because I'm thinking about the Home Alone gold tooth.
That's the first one I
dad
thought of,
up, right? And I feel like there's another one in there, but funny end to the character, but also like I don't know,
useless,
like unimpressive. Like we've had 3 very quick, almost like single strike knockouts pretty much, here, right?
But I will say in the defense of that choice, because I see what you're saying, and I do think, especially as a first time viewer, I was like, man, I thought these fights would be like more to them kind of thing. The fact that the movie does give us in later scenes much more involved bouts, it's like, oh no, we're trying to set here that not everybody in this tournament is really up to Jackson and Frank and Chong Li's talent level. There are others. Paco is a character that does a bunch of ass whooping, and there's a couple of other Asian characters that really do great stuff. So there's like we're getting this idea that there's this, you know, subset within the fighters of like, well, these are the particularly good ones. So like later when Frank has to fight Paco after we see him whoop somebody's ass, it's like, oh, there's actual danger here. Like this is not some idiot like Hossein. This is somebody Frank actually has to fight. So I do enjoy that they're giving us
scrubs out of the way here.
Get the scrubs out of the way. Show us, you know, don't just tell us, show us that Chong Li and Frank and Ray Jackson can really just whoop ass. They are a level above some of these guys.
Yeah.
So that it raises the stakes appropriately. So I'm okay with these first ones being quick because most of this movie is fight scenes.
Yeah.
And most of them are more involved and have more action. So
that's fair. Yeah. That's fair. And then, you know, right after this last fight of Dux against Hussein, we get a pretty good montage just showing kind of the first day of action, good clashes of styles. Yeah. There's Chong Li, then there's this other like really big, tall kind of sumo guy whose move is snapping somebody over his knee, which that looked always brutal. It looks very, very rough.
And this is the Kumite song, I believe, right? And during this sequence.
Survive.
Oh my God.
So this was Stan. What's the guy's name?
Bush.
Love
Stan Bush.
Oh, we are Stan Bush stans.
Yes, exactly. I think The Touch is one of the best 80s songs ever, man.
I think Stan Bush Stan is the country that Hussein was supposed to be from in this.
Stan Bush Stan.
So we got a good montage. And the military guys have located Frank.
Yes.
Right. So he's kind of back at his hotel and they found him and they're, you know, we're taking you back, and they point their tasers at him, and he goes and takes off. Right, so we get kind of a
those
chase through the
tasers,
streets.
by the way, they look like dustbusters. They're crazy looking, like just absolutely enormous. And I know it's 1988, but they're enormous.
Yeah,
and they look like those dustbusters that you would attach to the wall.
Yes,
before when you had to take the bag off.
Do you think they
or whatever.
Charge like that, where they plug into the wall?
100%. They're hooked
pop
on.
Your taser off the wall on the way out.
Yeah, make sure you grab something from the taser wall, guys. Don't forget your tasers. So crazy.
So we get a little chase through the streets.
Yeah.
And it's good. I mean, just kind of very lighthearted, like goofy stuff.
Keystone Cops, dude. It's so bad. This whole chase.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the idea of it, though. But like, there opportunity for probably more action and more jokes. But again, dude, $1.5 million budget. Like they did focus it in one place here.
That's true. And it's just, but just some of the like ways in which Dux is escaping, like running around the side of a car, like peeking over things, and just like at one point they're running through a really narrow alley, and he stops and turns around, and they are like on top of him to the point that when he then turns to run towards the camera again, both of the pursuing actors have to pretend to stumble in order to not end up on top of him because he waited way too long to do that. And it's little things like that where I'm like, man, this just makes it, it's sort of like when there's the fight choreography and Van Damme reacts to a punch that hasn't even come yet. It's kind of like, ugh, this is like the one thing this movie should be good at. This is the one thing this movie should be good at. It's like fight choreography, like chase action stuff. And this chase left me wanting.
So it ends with the pursuers end up like falling off one of these boats, right? So Frank is like, oh, see you later.
And of course has to get their attention and like salute them or whatever before just leave it. It's like, God. And he told them, look, I'll come back with you, but the plane ride's in 2 days. I got to finish this tournament.
Yeah.
Like I'm not coming back now, but I'll meet you at the airport in 2 days. Like he's trying to be like reasonable-ish.
Right. Because realistically, unless this is an illegal thing and you could say any U.S. citizen could be arrested for doing this thing, I don't know what grounds the military has when he's on his time off to prevent him from this. But hey, as we know, we'll get to, Frank Dux is very decorated, very valuable member of the armed forces.
We'll have to get into that.
Frank now is having his dinner date with a reporter.
Yep.
And sleeps over, and the day before a fight to the death, no holds barred tournament. Maybe I'm just gonna try to pop in a hungry man and get to bed early. He's up, he's humping all night and doing the splits. And I mean, again, another scene has to show him getting dressed in the morning, and we
flash
get
the glutes.
They could have shown the camera after he pulled his pants up, but we got a full ass scene. Again, definitely in his contract for sure.
Oh yeah. So then she asks him again, can you get me in? And he's like, no, I really can't. I'm sorry. Like, I'm so sorry. So then he arrives at the Kumite, and she shows up with some rich Asian guy. She's just there.
You just dress like Vanna White. They let you into this thing.
It's very Vanna White, very evening gown. And she
it's funny
says
that she didn't try that first. It's like, instead of getting almost like kidnapped and assaulted by all these professional punchers, like you could have just put earrings on and gotten in there.
She also says something to him as she sees Frank. She says, like, it's not the first time I had to go undercover to get a story. And it's like, so wait, are you telling me that if Frank had brought you, you would have just told everyone there, I'm a journalist, Frank brought me? You both would have been killed.
Yeah.
You would have had to go undercover anyway. If you could have just been an undercover fake call girl for some rich business, why didn't you do that first?
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. But no time has passed. Like, he leaves and she is there within minutes of him arriving.
Yeah.
So no time. So she must have had this in her back pocket, I guess. But she
was as close to him walking into the Kumite as the cops were chasing him down the alley a minute ago.
Exactly.
So again, we've got another decent montage here. And Chong Li, at one point, he breaks somebody's leg, so
compound fracture.
That's a really rough one.
That's like the one kind of major special effect, I think, in the movie.
Kind of the only real injury.
Yep.
And we kind of see continued accumulation of blood on the mat. So it's getting wiped off, but it's definitely getting stained. So this is kind of showing us what's going around. We get the sumo guy against the hopping around racist caricature guy. One thing I would like during this whole sequence is maybe just a quick flash to like the bracket.
Yeah, you never really see that.
I think that the logic of the way these fights actually are, the bracket would have been too tough to do. They didn't have enough guys to work with.
It would have been a level of detail that, while it would have been kind of nice to see, like in Karate Kid, right, where they're moving the placard names around and stuff, it is a level of detail that this movie has not put into any other parts of its plot. So it really would have kind of been a lot of work, I think, to get it quite right.
Well, the guy had matching Giants gear on at the beginning of it.
It's amazing. I just love it because there's not a single person on the planet that I could think of who would be a fan of both the New York and San Francisco Giants. Like, what would have had to happen in your life that was your two teams?
Yeah,
like,
I have no idea.
It's like you're both members of the Parent Trap. You're both twins from the Parent Trap at once. Anyway.
So Frank Dux ends up against the big sumo guy, and he takes him out.
Yeah.
One of the things that Frank, it had established he was doing this touch of death punch where he was breaking the bottom brick. So he does that exact punch to this guy's stomach.
Yeah.
But because he's a big fat evil guy, he just goes, ha, 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 ha. And then, but Frank ends up taking him out.
He does, that's the splits to the nut punch, isn't it? With an uppercut. Like, good God, that's brutal.
I feel like that should get your back turned. Like, people should turn their back on you for that move.
That is like Dalton with the throat rip, right? That is like that is the good character is now a little less good because we've seen this move.
Yes, exactly. So he nut punches him and then just kind of shoves his forehead and like knocks him over. Chong Li goes up against Ray Jackson here.
Which again, I'm expecting Ray to not survive this bout. At this point watching it, that's what I expect. So Ray gets a couple good punches in, whatever, like knocks Chong Li down, but immediately turns his back on him and starts celebrating. And it's like, bro, like you can't, what are you doing?
We saw this in Game of Thrones. I mean, this is the thing. This is the Viper, right?
That's
you
right.
don't do
the
this.
Sand Viper. Yeah.
So he's chanting. He's like, yeah. Ugh. And Chong Li gets back up and he starts fighting back. And he is really like pounding on Ray while he's down. Like you said, we're bracing ourselves for a character who's like, yeah, we like him, but it's fine if he dies in the scheme of this movie.
If he existed to be the one who dies to give Frank the last boost of revenge he needs, it would have made perfect sense. I was totally prepared for that.
Yep.
And he does get badly injured. And even, I've got to tell you, they cut to Frank running onto the Mac, and people are trying to hold him back. Like, you can't do that. But he's getting them in whatever. And Chong Li's still got the bandana, the Harley Davidson bandana that Jackson was wearing, and he keeps it. That's a very thing. But it really looked like, if he dies, he dies, that kind of moment. And then we cut to Jackson awake and in the hospital. And he's got a bandage on his head, but he's like fine, basically.
He could have at least been in a coma or something. Like he was not. Yeah, it's like
give us a chance he might die from it and let that drive Frank. But no, he's fine.
Yeah, so very weird. So during this scene, it's really funny. They're visiting Ray in the hospital, Frank and the reporter, and I keep forgetting her name, but honestly, I don't think the writers wrote her name.
Maybe not.
So as they're doing this and they're talking to Ray Jackson, he's being examined by a doctor who is just moving the stethoscope like a couple inches at a time on his chest every couple seconds for like 2 minutes straight. Like they couldn't just be like, hey, at some point the doctor would be done with this and he'd let you on. Like it's important to know that Ray is getting checked by a doctor here.
So strange. The doctor did not need to be there in the scene. We see him like hooked up to stuff. He's in a hospital bed. Like that's really all. The doctor is doing the same work.
Yeah.
From a storytelling perspective, it's like, it's not necessary. Yeah.
But he's determined. I'm going back for the final day of the Kumite. I'm going to win this thing. Oh, Janice is the reporter's name.
Okay. There you go.
So she's pissed off, right?
And this is, and so then, she's like, are you crazy? Like, you can't do this. Like, you got it. He's like, oh, it's for honor. You wouldn't understand, like, or whatever.
And it's weird because, like, he's doing it supposedly to avenge a death. But then he also says, I want to be the first like American or the first outsider to win or something like that.
I don't know if somebody did mention that he would be the first American. I can't remember. Did he say that was part of his thing? 'Cause I remember him saying stuff about wanting to honor Tanaka, his mentor, more than anything. Like that being the driving thing. But yeah, at some point we do hear that like because I think Lynn tells him if you could be the first American to win this, no Americans ever won it or something like that. But can't remember if that was like something Frank said or not.
Driving him or not.
But anyway, there's that. So he heads back to Kowloon Walled City to go to the last day of the thing, even though, Janice or whatever is like screaming at him not to. Like, if you die, is it worth it kind of thing.
Right. And she goes to snitch on him.
That's right. She goes and she tells
the
cops
she goes to the Hong Kong cops,
yep.
right, who are in touch with the military guys. Yep. So, now that's on his radar and she just wants them to shut down the Kumite.
To stop it. Yeah, exactly. So he goes there and meets the two whatever military, I don't know if they're MPs, what the hell they are, some kind of, detectives or whatever.
Yeah.
Forrest Whitaker and his buddy. And so they're there and they've got the stun guns.
Before this real quick, because Frank is having kind of like, there's a montage.
Oh, that's right.
Where he's
more
like,
flashbacks or something?
He's kind of like thinking about the upcoming fight and he's having flashbacks, but all the flashbacks are just exact shots that have already been in the movie of like Chong Li, being like or whatever, and Ray getting hit, and he's like hallucinating about Chong Li and stuff, and then he's up like at the top of the tallest building in the city doing the splits like a gargoyle just over the
some kind of
over
temple
the city
or something. It's a very interesting looking building, but
another contractually obligated splits. Now the cops are kind of after Frank like in the Kowloon Walled City on the way in.
Exactly. And they've got their stun guns, and then I think he grabs like a trash can lid, and the stun gun little barbs not only deflect off of that when they try to shoot him, they like hit some of the Hong Kong cops, and then he's able to run away. Something like that.
This is the biggest like give up of the whole movie. So these guys have traveled to Hong Kong to chase him down, to make sure that he's secured. He's a military asset at the very least, if not like an international criminal, depending on what they're going after him for, right?
They do keep talking about wanting to protect him, that the military is invested a lot in him.
Yeah.
If he gets hurt, that's bad for them. That's kind of the angle they've been taking.
That's right. It's like Colonel Troutman wouldn't want Rambo to do one of these tournaments, right?
Yep.
So then when they go after Frank and he deflects the tasers, and the Hong Kong cop get hit by the tasers and are immediately like, yeah, we're not part of this anymore. And then
fuck all y'all.
The main one of the military guys is like, okay, Frank, you win, but it's wrong what you're doing. And then that's just fucking it for those guys for now. So he ends up running in, and he barely makes it on time to the Kumite. One of the organizers, maybe one of the guys who's running the gambling, looks like he's bribing one of the officials to let Frank in, and the guy's like, okay, he can get in, and then he reaches back in and steals the money back that he tried to bribe him with.
He was asking him to like wait. He was like, we'll give him 5 more minutes, or whatever. And then as he puts the money in the pocket, Frank shows up, so he pulls it right back out, like, oh look, he's here. It's all good. Don't need to worry about it. So now Frank has to fight Paco,
Yep,
which is
and-
one of the fighters we saw do rather well earlier in the tournament.
He's been around. Paco, I don't know the name of the actor. He is in the movie Stone Cold with Brian Bosworth. He's one of the kind of sub-boss bad guys in it. So
nice.
He's been among stars before.
Bosworth is the loftiest of stars. Really,
Yeah.
that is high.
So Paco does the thing where he tries to do like the handshake fist bump at the beginning, but then does a cheap shot. So immediately like turns the tail. It's so funny that a guy who like we've been shown he's skilled, he's doing well. Like why would he do that
Right.
at the very beginning?
Very strange.
But then there's a scene where there's just like 60 mutual sidekicks going back and forth. They're both like booting each other.
And not even defending them, just taking the shots in the
just
ribs
absolutely
over and over
like,
again.
Hey, right in my kidneys, hardest part of my body.
Lord.
So Dukes ends up winning with a spin kick. This is where we start getting some Van Damme really showcasing here.
For sure.
Chong Li ends up fighting, right? And he, of course, takes his guy out very easily and is kind of holding him down, like doing the like, what should I do? Should I finish him off? And then punches him in the face in a way that, it's indicated to us like that guy's dead.
died,
they come and check his pulse and everything.
That's right.
He's dead. So Chong Li killed his opponent.
Holding the hand in front of the nose first to see if he can feel any air and then checking the pulse because the air thing is much more reliable. So
the punch that Chong Li, it kind of looked weak. Again, budget limitations. It's a weird angle.
Yeah.
There's a way to make that look better. You just need an actor who's willing to actually get punched by a giant Chinese bodybuilder.
Yeah, even pulling a punch that would hurt from Bolo Yeung. Yeah. So now we're going to have Frank versus Chong Li for the finals. At this point, I believe the detectives are in the audience. The journalist is in the audience. Like everybody's, I think even maybe the captain of the Hong Kong PD stayed with them. I can't remember if he was there or not.
Yeah.
But like they're all just hanging out. Like I thought this was secret.
This is the Blues Brothers final concert at the Palace Hotel Ballroom where like all the cops and the SWAT team are all watching them do Sweet Home Chicago. And the elders, after Chong Li killed this other fighter, the kind of people in charge of it like stand up and very emphatically like turn their backs
Like solemnly,
on
because
and
like
then
you went too far.
Like this isn't what this is about.
It's not actually against the rules.
Precisely what it's about.
It's not actually against the rules. You could actually outlaw it and say, hey, if you kill
You
somebody,
could
you're
make a
disqualified. You could make a rule, but they didn't. So you really shouldn't get mad at him for that. Before the fight between Chong Li and Frank, the trainer for Chong Li or his whatever manager or something slips something into his waistband that looks like a Rolaids or a Tums or something like that.
It's for his ulcer.
Yeah, it's just very strange.
Getting kicked in the stomach 100 times in a row gave me an ulcer. So he slides something in, so we know something's up. And then Chong Li is wearing Ray Jackson's Harley Davidson bandana on his leg.
That's right.
I don't know why he didn't just replace his main one.
Well, he's got to have the Korean flag so we can know that he's Korean, Chong Li. We got to make sure we know he's Korean. So, but yeah, and actually that punches a hole in the maybe he took it off a guy he killed or beat thing because he would have replaced it with the new one if that was the case, right? So yeah, I think that was his.
Freshest kill on the head, and then you go down the body.
You'd think.
Bolo Yeung, I love his presence. I love that he exists. All of his lines suck so bad in this. So
he's not an actor. Like God bless him, but he is a strong man, a bodybuilder. Yeah, not an actor.
his kind of Ivan Drago type line here is, "You break my record, now I break you like I break your friend." Like you gotta tighten that up a little bit.
I don't know. That's compelling.
You break my record, now I break you. Cool. Or I'll break you like I break your friend.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, I could see how tightening it up might have been better, but I really think you're just being way too hard on him.
Should he have added more to it?
It's really just so good. I can't believe you're nitpicking this wonderful.
Well, look, we've had so many mutual 5-star movies. I got to make sure there's something to pick on about.
we got to make sure we really dig into everything because this could be one of those.
The Frank Chong Li fight is pretty entertaining.
It's good. It's a good
fight.
fight.
This is like the best example of Jean-Claude Van Damme only kicks with his right leg.
I didn't notice that, but now I got to go back and watch it.
Go back and watch it. Every kick he does, these kicks that I would describe as like foot slaps. Like it's almost like he's slapping him like an old woman would with like a white glove, like across the face. He hits him with the world's most telegraphed jump kick to the face. Like this is all haymakers. This fight.
Yes,
it's definitely not like little jabs and strategy. It's like an NBA game that's all dunks.
It's NBA Jam.
Yeah, it's totally NBA Jam. Maybe this movie inspired NBA Jam too.
It might have.
He kicks Frank at one point. Chong Li comes up from behind him, and Frank kicks behind his shoulder, which is like, it's like if a pirate had a parrot on his shoulder, it would be him kicking his own parrot off his own shoulder, right? Like that angle, like that's where the guy's face was.
I feel like we saw a movie where this happens in a clearly comically incorrect way. Like you know, like I was like it was like Naked Gun or Airplane or somebody does something like this where like they essentially would have had to fold in half for this to happen.
Yep.
I think it was Airplane. I feel like somebody
right.
gets crunched in the bed, or I don't remember exactly what it was. It's some movie where somebody, like gets that compressed, and yet we're supposed to believe, and of course we'll only see him from his chest up, so we don't see the rest of his body, but we're supposed to believe that foot, which I think would have been his left actually, but goes up.
That's true in that scene,
and completely, I just don't even understand physically how that would happen.
I don't even understand how your hip rotates to make that happen.
It doesn't is the key. But even if he got it right, because of like the shin hitting his own body, like maybe the toe just tapped the dude's nose. Like it would have had to be real close. That was like really very strange.
Right, you're giving yourself an incredibly hard kick in the shoulder to maybe graze the guy behind you.
Let me break my collarbone to see if I can tickle the nose of my opponent. That's the move here.
But that was a big move, and now Chong Li is down, and he's obviously at a disadvantage. So he reaches in for the two Rolaids that were in his given to him by his trainer, crushes them, and then throws like an incredible amount of powder for those two little pills.
Oh, it was very complete crushing.
Yeah.
Like, it was very good, and it creates
and
a ton
the sweat on his hand didn't make it pasty or anything, just perfectly.
So I don't know if they were just supposed to be chalk discs or something. I guess
the way I read it described was like salt tablets or something.
Weird.
Just I don't know.
I mean, that would hurt.
Used to happen in pro wrestling, right? Where they have the guy, and it would always be like a Japanese guy, sneaky Japanese guy who's throwing salt in someone's face to blind them.
Glitter.
So he's Korean, Japanese, and Chinese in this.
It's about par for the course for Bloodsport's cultural awareness.
And now Frank Dux is blind. And again, no ref. Oh, we forgot to do the no blinding anybody with foreign objects rule.
Right.
Like, damn it, we blew it.
Yeah.
And he is just giving the most agonized slow motion scream as Frank's looking around,
crazy.
Realizing that he can't see. Very incompetent at the beginning at being a blind guy. He's freaking out.
Well, and here's the problem. Then they keep cutting to what we're supposed to believe is Frank's vision, and it's not. He can see. It's just blurry.
Yeah.
Like, you still could look at the fucking opponent and see him coming. This is not, you are not in the dark. Like, it's a very odd choice. They shouldn't have done that. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like either don't that or make it
or do that
so
just
dark
at the beginning and show it deteriorating,
fading.
right?
Show it fade to black, and then he can't see anything. The way they did it, it's like, he can actually see shapes and colors and movement. Like, why wouldn't he just keep fighting? I get that it's a disadvantage. I'm wrong, but they make it seem like when we're looking at him, it looks like he's completely blind and reacting only to the force or what the fuck ever.
Right.
But when we get the vision, the shot from his vision, it's like, it's blurry, it's impaired.
You still just have to kick like a human-sized thing. So it's not like,
target.
you're not playing darts.
Right, exactly, yes. This is not a precision job here. Like,
So he's flashing back now to his blindness training that he had with Tanaka.
We got to be reminded that he did that.
Oh, hey, remember an hour and 10 minutes ago when I was serving a full English tea to this family, like with a blindfold on, and he's flashing back to this. So, of course, when he remembers his training, which is the main thing that we need to do, is he's able to start doing it, right?
Like,
blocks a kick immediately, turns it around, starts fighting back. Now, Chong Li does a very WWE, WWF style move where he grabs the referee and throws him in between him and Frank has to like grab him and feel him for a minute,
right,
and then let him go. Like, okay, you're okay,
and like defends him momentarily too, sort of puts him behind himself, which is like partly get out of my way, but like the ref doesn't step away from him at all. He just stays right there.
That ref is asking to get
really
hit.
bad.
And also, if I felt a gi when I'm going against a shirtless guy, I would be pretty quick. Like, cool, I'm good. Instead of like investigate him close.
There's nothing to grab on Bolo Yeung at this point. He has no shirt on. You wouldn't be grabbing anything.
High up,
Anyway.
So we got a lot of slow motion dodges here, and Frank is using his blind training and getting out of the way, and he's able to turn the tables here on Chong Li. He puts him in a hold. And he gets Chong Li to say the tap out words.
Mate.
Mate.
Yep.
And that is it.
Yeah,
and I mean, this it for that fight.
Yeah, it's absolutely right. So Frank wins. He is the champion. He's the first American champion of the Kumite. I believe he's given a sword as well, right? Isn't that
which is
the
never
trophy?
getting through TSA on his way home.
Well, there was no TSA back then. But we then have to cut back to the hospital room to Jackson because he's telling him how he won and all this stuff, and they get their whole, anytime you ever need me, I'm there, brother, like kind of moment. So we know, okay, they're lifelong friends. That's cool. But then he asked, did you beat him? And the journalist gets to say, Janice, or she's like, oh, even better, he made him say Mate. She's just a moment ago she wanted this whole thing done away with, but now that Frank's won, she's a super fan.
Yeah. Freaking front runner Janet.
Yeah.
So then that's it, and Dukes is supposed to now return with these agents, and I like that Ray Jackson's allowed to just chug beer throughout his recovery at this hospital.
That must have been Hong Kong standard protocol at the time,
dude. It looks nice. And the agents are there at the plane, at the bottom of the airplane, said, Dukes is standing us up again, and then he comes out from the door. He's like, what took you so long, guys?
Guys, where are you going? I am right here. It is time for us to go back to America. Like whatever the fuck his accent is.
So that is Bloodsport.
And then the most surprising part of the entire movie to me. I had no idea this was coming. I had no hint that there was anything about this. The text that shows up over Jean-Claude Van Damme's face when he's doing the little fist and bow kind of thing to Janice saying goodbye. I wrote down the whole thing. This is what it says. This motion picture is based on the true events in the life of Frank W. Dukes. From 1975 to 1980, Frank W. Dukes fought 329 matches. He retired undefeated as the world heavyweight full contact Kumite champion. Mr. Dukes still holds 4 world records. Fastest knockout, 3.2 seconds.
Ooh.
Fastest punch with a knockout, 0.12 seconds.
Whoa.
Fastest kick with a knockout, 72 miles per hour.
Oh, how many seconds is that?
Most consecutive knockouts in a single tournament, 56. Hold on to that one. Subsequently, Mr. Dukes founded the first American ninjutsu system, Dukes-ryu. So this is the first problem I have with this, is I saw that and I went, bullshit, there's no way.
Yeah.
The first number that jumped out at me is insane, is 329 matches.
In 5 years.
Just at all. Like the most prolific boxers of all time have like maybe 100 matches in their entire careers. 40 to 50 is a good career. You know what I mean? Like, so 329 full contact, no gloves matches. And yes, over 6 years, supposedly, is just beggars the imagination. It's ridiculous. But the more interesting one is the 56 consecutive knockouts in a single tournament, because the number of entrants you would need in a tournament in order to have the winner fight 56 people and beat 56 consecutive people, you would need, and I quote, I did the math, 72 quadrillion, 57 trillion, 594 billion people needed to be in that tournament.
Oh, so you're saying it's impossible for there to be a popular martial science tournament?
Something like 9 million Earths worth of people or something. Like it's absolutely ridiculous. And so, yeah, all of his stuff is just complete bullshit. And of course, the reality of it is like none of it's verifiable. All of it just came from Dukes. He told Black Belt magazine that he did this. They printed it. That became the proof that it is real. And so it's still all just based on one guy's claims. Really crazy.
It's so crazy that, 56 in a row, even if it's like an octuple elimination tournament where you're able to lose and still like fight again.
The one potential way would be like 56, a round robin of 57 people. So everybody has to fight everybody else 56 times. But then how do you do that? A, over 3 days, and B, who can who other than this impenetrable champion is surviving long enough to fight 56 matches over a few days while getting knocked out at least by Frank Dukes, right? It's ridiculous.
It sounds like a classic liar. And then all the stuff I'd read about Frank Dukes is he juiced his military service numbers. Apparently, there's not a lot of evidence for the stuff that he's claiming. And
he apparently was in the
records.
reserves, it sounds like. So he did have some connection, but never like deployed to Vietnam or anything like that. From what I saw.
Right. So, just your classic liar. Just the classic kid you went to elementary school with who says that his dog is actually a wolf. Like one of those kind of kids.
You wouldn't know this tournament. She's in Canada. Like,
Exactly.
So that is Bloodsport. And That is Bloodsport, Nick.
That's Bloodsport. Yeah.
You brought it to us. Give us your rating, buddy. What's going on?
Okay, so Bloodsport, you have to know why you're going into to watch it and what you're going to get out of it. It's a short movie, hour and a half, like we said.
Yep.
I think you can trim the first 15 minutes, no problem.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone has the option to fast forward through or start later. And I'd say like your experience doing that is going to be more enjoyable. This is almost like, it's interesting to know that the budget was so low.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I do feel like this movie would benefit from a modern remake, and not even as like a blockbuster, but just as kind of the level of one of those like Jason Statham lower release, like The Beekeeper or something that has like that kind of budget in it, right? Because I think you can get a lot of real fighters in it. I think you can make it look a lot better. The fight choreography, there's a lot of opportunities to improve on it. But it did inspire so much stuff. There's a lot of stuff that wouldn't have existed if Frank Dux wasn't such a successful liar.
Right.
Imagine being an editor and be like, what? Who would lie to Black Belt magazine? The most lied about title in the history of the world. But Van Damme, he kind of sucks, but he can do some fun looking stuff. Not great acting in this. It's kind of crazy that future Oscar nominee Forrest Whitaker was in this. Right.
It's our second time seeing Mr. Whitaker.
That's right.
His
Fast Times
very
at Ridgemont
famous
High?
role in Fast Times.
We
haven't seen a Forrest Whitaker movie yet, but we'll get there, I'm sure.
We've seen him around for sure. So I think as far as rating Bloodsport, I'm going to be similar to how you were with the last film, where I think that if I'm just going straight up, if I didn't have any history with this, if I wasn't giving it credit for like spawning Street Fighter 2 and Mortal Kombat, I'd probably be more like a 2.5. Like it's just kind of like a stinky low budget movie with some cool parts. I'm going to go 3.5 for Bloodsport because I think that it's a fun watch. If this is your jam, it's a fun one. And if you like action movies, I think it's important to add this to your repertoire of ones you've seen, just because it's influential and it's referenced a lot, even if it's not the greatest like experience to watch.
That's fair. I think it's totally fair. I obviously, having watched this for the first time this week, don't have any nostalgia for Bloodsport. However, I do have nostalgia for, at least one of the major things that it spawned, which was the sort of 1v1 fighting games that we all loved in the early 90s, most specifically Street Fighter 2 and Mortal Kombat had really specific pulls from this movie that informed their movies or their games rather. So I have to give it some credit there. Like you, never been a big Van Damme guy. I was pretty much a Schwarzenegger guy when it came to action stars in the 80s and 90s, even more than Stallone and anybody else.
Well, Arnie is truly the Cadillac of those guys. I mean, Stallone is a significant step down, even though he's clearly the second best one.
Sure, but he's like a fully loaded Chevy Silverado. Like it's fine, but it's not a luxury car. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't have nostalgia for that, but I have nostalgia for some of the resulting art that came out of this existence. I actually was going to give this a 1.5. And I'm going to bump it up to a 2 because the more I think about how all of this came out of one just absolute pathological liar's bullshit stories and that he got away with getting this movie made or getting the story told, like fucking kudos, Frank W. Dux. Like honestly, it's all bullshit clearly, but man, you had so many people going for so long and got this movie made and then that meant this and this. So I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5.
Okay.
That's about because I also was thinking about it in the context of Rocky IV. I feel like it's a very, very similar movie.
Yeah.
This movie is a series of fights and flashbacks tied loosely together with a plot, which, Rocky IV was more of like montages and fights.
Yes.
Right. But same kind of thing where there's not enough plot here for me to care about the movie part of it, but that's also fine. Like there's some value here. So I think I was a 1.5 on Rocky because of the Street Fighter 2 and Mortal Kombat influence, some of that stuff. I'm going to go up to 2 on Bloodsport. So you were 3.5. So 5.5 out of 10 is where we are with Bloodsport.
Fair enough. I think that's where it belongs.
I think that's pretty accurate. But yeah, man, Frank Dux, like, Good for you, you crazy
now,
son
you know
of a
what?
bitch.
My YouTube rabbit hole this week is going to be looking for actual Frank Dux interviews just to see this guy in action.
100%.
It might be featured on an upcoming episode of The Rewind. If I find some good Frank Dux, I'll share it.
Love it. Perfect. Cool. All right. So I'm doing next week then. This was your call.
What do we got coming up, Steve?
So we're going to go do another movie. This was kind of like, I think this will go better than last time, but a few weeks ago we did The Birdcage, maybe a month ago now. And that was a movie that is something my wife and I love together and quote together. And I mentioned it in that episode a few times. Come on, Gloria, whatever, all this stuff. And we're going to do another movie that's like that. This is something that Heather and I love. This was actually a movie she introduced me to, I believe. Can't remember if I'd never seen it before I started dating her in the early 2000s, but I definitely, if I'd maybe seen it once. It wasn't like an important part of my life. And then she loves it. So she and I started dating in like 2005. And so from there, I saw this movie a ton of times, and it's now a major thing. We get to go back to the Bay Area, to like the pre-tech boom Bay Area. So adding
been a while since we had a Bay Area movie.
We
I
had
like
Pacific Heights, we had Sneakers, we had The Rock, so we've done a few, but now we're going to go back and do another Yay Area movie. And we're going to see, Mike Myers before Austin Powers and before, but after Wayne's World. So it's sort of like right around when Wayne's World came out, actually. I'm not 100% sure exactly the time. We'll have to look at it next week. But So I Married an Axe Murderer.
Okay.
As I'm beating around the bush. We're going to go he plays like, two characters in this one, I think, just two. Yeah, he plays the main character and then his own dad, right? And so we're gonna go and we're gonna hang out with the Scottish family, Charlie's parents and his buddy, the cop that wishes being a cop was more exciting than it really is. And there's this all these shots of San Francisco from like long before any of the like tech stuff kind of took over.
Unrealistic lofts in this one.
Absolutely, 100%.
Can't wait for it.
Really good stuff. Yeah, how two roommates afford that crazy apartment in San Francisco, even in 1993 or whatever.
Right.
Wild. So 93, So I Married an Axe Murderer. That's what we'll be watching next week.
Awesome.
Excellent. That's a wrap. If you like what you hear, please consider heading over to Apple or Spotify and leaving us a 5-star review. It helps new folks find the show. Be sure to check out our website at 2dads1movie.com. That's the number 2 and the number 1. There you can explore the movies we've covered, sign up for our newsletter, The Rewind, which we're actually doing these days, and even get sneak previews of upcoming episodes. Once again, this has been Bloodsport, another episode of 2 Dads, 1 Movie. I'm Steve.
And I'm Nick.
Thank you so much for listening. We'll catch you next week.
Thanks, everyone.